Hello friends and fellow Disney fans, welcome back to the Jamie Thomas Show. My name's Brad, so excited to have you with us today. We are going to be showing you how we put Spaceship Earth from Epcot on a wall in our living room and how you can do it too. So if you want to learn how to do that or just have some Disney fun, stick around. So before we get into all the instructions about our Epcot wall, I want to encourage you to take a moment and support the channel. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and maybe hit that little bell button. Why? Because we are bringing Disney content and just a little bit of magic to wherever you are every single week, and we want you to be a part of that. So during this whole COVID-19 quarantine, we decided we were going to do a few projects as a family, and one of the things we wanted to do was kind of do some work around our house. We wanted to do some painting, wanted to do some decorating, and part of our goal was actually to turn our house and make it feel more like a Disney resort just for the fun of it. And we love Disney, so why not? So Jamie in particular got really busy painting the upstairs of our house and decorating it, and you're probably seeing some pictures right now of all the different pictures and just how our living room and kitchen kind of reflects a Disney park or a Disney resort. And as she was getting close to being finished, we had this one wall. She said, I want that to be an accent wall. And we went back and forth on what should we make this accent wall? What color should it be? And one day, Jamie actually sent me a picture that someone else had done on Facebook where they had turned an entire wall into what looked like Spaceship Earth from Epcot. She said, wouldn't that be cool to do as our accent wall? But there's no way, that's way too difficult. And so I thought, you know what? I'm not very artistic, but I do enjoy math, and this could be kind of a fun project for me. And so checked out a few of the different examples I saw online, looked at some different instructions for how to do it. Turns out it wasn't as hard as I thought as far as skill wise. It does take a little bit of time, but the end result was really cool. And I want to kind of show you the step one to the very end and then the finished product of our Spaceship Earth Epcot wall. So that is what we decided to do. So step number one, get some black paint and paint the entire wall black. This is going to be kind of your little 1/4 inch differentiation that you're going to tape out that is going to really make that Epcot wall, that Spaceship Earth come alive, look 3D. And so you need everything to be jet black. I actually did 3 coats to make sure that it was going to be it was going to really pop on you. The second step, and maybe the most difficult one, is doing all of your taping, or at least beginning to tape. Now, there's a few key tools that I needed to have in order to do the taping. First was you have to find yourself some 1/4 inch painter's tape. This is actually kind of hard to track down. You can certainly buy it online. You can find it on Amazon. I would suggest getting at least 3 rolls, depending on the size of your wall. You may even want more. I mean, you might want less if it's a really small wall, but I would assume you'll need at least 3 rolls of this 1/4 inch painter's tape. You can find it on Amazon, like I said. No, we live in Canada, and it was actually kind of hard to find on Amazon where it would ship to Canada. And so what I had to do was go to auto body shop and car part shops around our city, because they use that kind of tape to do pinstripes and whatnot in custom vehicles. So once I had the tape, the other tool that you really need is a wooden yardstick. Certainly, I think you could get away doing this project with the tape measurer, but it's far easier as far as keeping your line straight to use a yardstick. Then what you start to do is decide what kind of size do you want your triangles to be. Now our wall is 8 feet high by about 10 feet wide. Now that 10 feet wide does have a giant closet on the one end of it. So for the size of wall we were dealing with and the size of room, we thought about 16-inch triangles would be really good. We actually took a projector with the image from Spaceship Earth and projected it onto the wall, and we took it forward and back to try and see kind of how large we wanted the triangle. So from there, we started to measure out from the starting at the very bottom of the wall. I did a straight line of that 1/4 inch tape, then moving up 16 inches, did another straight line. I measured along with the yardstick to make sure it was exactly 16 inches all the way along, and we did this all the way to the roof. Now, in order to do that, I actually had a piece of chalk that I marked on the wall where 16 inches was. All right, next was taping the diagonal lines. This is where it gets a little more tricky from a math perspective for us, because we were doing 16-inch triangles. On the first line up, what I would do is I would measure 8 inches over and make a mark, and then from that point on, I would go 16 inches all the way across. On the next line up, I would start 16 inches out, and then I would mark, and I would go 16 inches all the way across. So every other line, I would start one with 8 inches out and make a mark, and on the next one, I would start 16 inches out. And I would do that all the way up. And then, because I had made marks, I could then just kitty cross the tape to start making triangles. This part of it actually wasn't very difficult. You see when you do this at this point that your triangles are starting to form. Okay, this is the exciting part of the taping process. Now you're going to do the inner triangles inside the big triangles that you've made. So what you're going to do is on the triangles that are facing up, you are going to, from the tip of the triangle, you are going to measure down as straight as you can, exactly 10 inches, and then make a little dot. That, for all of your triangles that are pointing up, that is going to be kind of your point you're going to tape to, from the top to that point, and then in each direction, making 3 inner triangles. Now, for your triangles that are facing down, you just do the opposite. Measure up from the bottom point, 10 inches, make a dot, and then tape in your 3 lines to make your 3 triangles. At this point, once you've done it for your whole wall, you can effectively see exactly where all of your triangles are going to be. Now, this next step might seem a little bit weird, but it seemed to work for us, and we had heard and seen other people that have done this online, and it worked for them as well. We once again painted the entire wall black. That was to kind of create a seal or a barrier over top of the black lines so that there would be less of a chance of bleed through as we go through all the little triangles with the different paint colors. All right, now it's time to paint all of your different smaller triangles to make up your Epcot or your Spaceship Earth wall. What's really, really fun about this is you need to now pick your grays. There are no specific gray colors that you have to use. We had 3 different grays. What you want is a really dark gray, you want a really light gray, and then you want one that is kind of in between those two shades. You do want them to be separated enough that there is differentiation. There's kind of that 3D popping off the wall effect. If you get them too close, you won't really get that effect. That was the problem we had at first, and so what we actually did was we took some of our black paint that we had used for all of the first coats. We used that black inside 2 of the darker colors of our grays to make actually more of a differentiation between the colors, and we really liked how it turned out. At this point, you're going to start to paint your 3 colors. So now start with really whatever one of the 3 colors that you want. Just make sure you kind of have looked over the whole scheme of your kind of triangle wall at this point. What we actually did to make sure that we painted the appropriate color into the appropriate triangle is we would put a dot on every one of the triangles that were going to be a particular color in that paint color. And we did it for all 3 colors to make sure we knew exactly where to paint what color. Made it a lot easier. Now, the first color that you put up, obviously it doesn't matter if you're a little bit messier going over the lines because, hey, it's the first color. You're still going to go and do multiple coats of the other colors. So the first color is kind of your quickest one. I did 2 coats of paint in the first color first. And then for each succession color, it gets a little more difficult because you have to be more careful to not go over the lines. But I did this repeat for 3 different colors. Tons of fun. At this point, you want to actually let the paint sit for quite some time to dry properly before you start tearing up all of your different tapes so that you can see, again, those pinstripes that'll start to bring the wall to life. There's going to be a lot of temptation at this point because it's starting to look really cool and you want to see your finished product. But fight that urge, let it properly dry. It'll mean less cleanup work at the end. Okay, now you're ready to start taking off the tape. I found at first I was wanting to just rip it off in big sections, but the more I did that, the more I found I was actually pulling up paint as I went along, got kind of an X-Acto knife or a knife and started being more slow tearing it along. That seemed to create less pull-up of paint, less pull-up of drywall. But once everything was up, there actually wasn't that much kind of repair work to do. Went with a real fine-tooth paintbrush and some black. That was where there was mostly issues. Was it wasn't actually that any of the colors had bled through to the black. It was that taking off the tape took a little bit of the drywall off, or a little bit of the black paint itself off, and I had to repair there. So most of the repairs were actually on the black pinstripes, not on the other colors. The final step, and maybe the most important for us with kids, was we did a clear coat over it. That was to protect it. We actually did 3 coats of a clear coat just to make sure that the product was protected. It was a lot of work. We didn't want it to get destroyed afterwards. And now you are seeing our beautiful finished product. So here you have it, the finished product, our Spaceship Earth Epcot Wall, totally complete. I think it turned out really well, if I do say so myself. Kind of the perfect accent wall to our living room here. That just brings a little bit of the Disney magic into our home, and it was just a fun project to do during this whole isolation thing. And now you know how to do it too. So thank you so much for watching this video, taking the time to like it, leave a comment, subscribe, all that good stuff to support the channel. We got lots more great Disney content coming for you in the days and weeks to come. Maybe this has sparked a little bit of interest in you going on your next Disney vacation. Maybe you're looking ahead to 2021 when all of this craziness is over and you want to go back to the parks. Well, I want to encourage you, reach out to my wife, Jamie at clickthemouse.ca. That's her email. She is a travel agent who specializes in Disney vacations. When you book with her, her services are completely free. So again, easiest way to get a hold of her, Jamie at clickthemouse.ca, or you can go through her website, clickthemouse.ca/Jamie. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Bye.